Emma Lenny Benye Unile Loko. Esiku Dede Asikoi. Hello everyone, it's Adirumke again. I hope your day is going well. I asked this question on Instagram and I think people genuinely did not know the answer because I think aside Eduardo and Olamidun, aside those two people, nobody really responded. So yeah, people genuinely did not know the answer. And I gave a clue that the clue was pronoun, but still people did not know. Anyway, the question is, what is the difference between these two statements, meaning wise, considering the fact that the only difference in writing is a hyphen, yet they are not pronounced the same way? What is the difference between these two statements, meaning wise, considering the fact that the only difference in writing is a hyphen, yet they are not pronounced the same way? The way that you would pronounce this is different from how you would pronounce this. So Eduardo was close. It was pretty close. It should have said singular at the point where it said plural, but it was pretty close. So I was really impressed by him. The other response was not as encouraging. But yeah, today I'd like to not only, I guess, show you what they mean. Actually, I've mentioned that on Instagram, what the two statements mean. I would also like to tell you how they are different. And maybe you can pick one or two other things from this short teaching. These are the statements again. Look at them really well. Knowing that the only difference here is a pronoun. How? I'll show you. How are they so similar, yet so similar in writing? I mean, the only difference is this, yet so different in pronunciation and meaning. First of all, this is what these two statements mean. Before we analyze how they mean these things, this is what the two statements mean. This first one is pronounced afebe, afebe, afebe. I mean, you can tell, but that at least this and this would be similar, you know. Even if you don't know anything about the language, you know that there's a chance that this and this and this and this are probably similar, probably mean the same thing, and the only difference would be between here and here. So this is we want to, a is we, fe is to want or to want to or to desire. Be is beg. Be is beg. E is you. E is you. I'll show you how. Afebe is we want to beg you. And you is a second person singular pronoun. It's a second person singular pronoun. The other one is, this one with a hyphen is afebe, afebe, and it's third person singular. And it means we want to beg him or her. The him or her being somebody that is younger than you. It's a third person singular. So if you say this, you're probably talking about somebody. The person that you're talking about has to be one person that is younger than you. Afebe. Afebe is different from afebe. Let's do the first one. Afebe, we want to beg you. This will become incredibly important, and you see how when I start to make, well, I might just shrink everything to one video, but it's going to be at least an hour long, but it would cover everything that you need to know about Yorùbá pronouns. You know, take note of this. I have like a short thing, an emoji. That is how to remember it. But just remember do mi, re mi, mi re. If it's do, then it's mi. If it's re, then it's mi. If it's mi, then it's re. It won't make sense yet until we get to the teaching. Do mi, re mi, mi re. Do mi, re mi, mi re. Just remember that before. And it would be good for you to have seen my video on how to pronounce Yoruba correctly, because another way to know if you really follow the teachings is you already know what I'm about to talk about in this video. So if you've not seen my video on how to pronounce Yoruba correctly yet, I've already explained all of this. This is just for those who did not watch the video up until that point, who have not seen the video. I encourage you to watch that video, the one on pronouncing Yoruba correctly, because I went in depth as well. Afebe, note that this is you. This is a little chart, and I forgot to include this in the group class that we had in February. So I encourage you to, yikes. I reviewed the things that I missed, and there were like 2 things that I should have included. I should have said something, and I should have included this in the pronoun chart. I hope you forgive me, and I hope you catch up when I make public videos on some of the things that we covered in the class several months ago. Do mi, re mi, mi re. Notice that e and o end with re, and e and o end with mi. If, let's say, you want to say something like, I want to see you, mo fẹ́ rí ẹ. Whatever verb that, this is you in the object form, the non-emphatic you in the object form. Whatever verb that comes before that you, if it ends with, it could be e and or it could be e or o, it could be e or o, depending on the verb that comes before. These are just 2 different dialects. You can stick with e, you can stick with o. You most commonly hear e nowadays. This also, it could be any of these. You most commonly hear this, e or o. If the verb that precedes you in the statement ends with, if the last syllable of that verb ends with do, then you would choose one that ends with mi. So you would choose e. If the verb, the last syllable of the verb that precedes you, if it ends with re, then you would choose this, one of these. You would choose one of these. If it ends with mi, then you choose re. By now, I hope you've seen my videos on tone marks, because at this point, I feel like I've overemphasized it. You know, the importance of correct tone marks, and I have a whole video on it. I went into the history. I went into the spiritual significance. I went into how much it matters to drumming and spiritual communication. I talked about the history. I talked about why it even exists in the first place. I think, as far as going in depth is concerned, I tried my best. So if you don't understand tones now, it's not because there are no resources available. There are resources. Hello. I have a video. So it could be one of these depending on the last syllable of the verb that precedes. Let's take a look at this statement. We want to beg. We want to beg. Like I said, it could be one of these, because the syllable that comes before you, it's a lot of Yoruba verbs, if not 99% of them, are actually, if not, let's just say 90% to be safe. I think 90% of Yoruba verbs have just one syllable in them. At most 2, like in the cases of sunkun. Okay, let me just say 80%. Let me go with 80%. I have just one syllable in them. This is beg. If you want to say, we want to beg you, the you would be either this or this. Note that these are just like 2 different dialects. I'm making sure to include a different dialect just so that you hear another thing. Like, it could be either one of these or either one of these. So Because this ends with do, what does the map say? What does the chart say? The chart says that you have to use one of the ones that have the mi tone on them. So, afebe, then this would be mi. See? Mi. Or you could say or o. This is me, but again, this is why you need to see my video on how to pronounce Yorùbá correctly. The one on the do, mi, compatibility dynamic, because I've explained this. If a syllable that has the do tone on it comes after one that has the mi tone on it, it sounds like do. It sounds like do. Like here, afebe, afebe, afebe. Notice that this doesn't quite align with do. It's not afe, re, mi, do. Afebe. That would be different. And I mentioned the exception. I mentioned the exception. The exception would apply to the second one. And that is why the pronunciation is different. It is because of that one exception that the pronunciation between these two statements, the differences in pronunciation exist between these two statements. Afebe, re, mi, do, mi. Afebe, when do comes after mi, it sounds like do, do, do. Afebe. When mi comes after do, it sounds like me, so it would be be, do, mi. I've explained this. I've explained this. Please watch it. That is why they sound different as far as pronunciation is concerned from the typical do, do, re, mi. That is why there's a difference. That is why it's not quite do. It's do. And that is why this one is not quite me. It's me. I've explained it. Afebe, we want to beg you. This is do. So, of course, you use one of the ones that have the me on them. I think it's the Ibadan people that say Ibadan, your axis. The environs that you would hear Afebe. I think that's Ibadan. Afebe, or your area. You know, that axis. Neighboring cities or towns. So either of these two is fine. This is one dialect. This is another dialect. Either of the two is fine. Afebe, afebeo, afebe, afebeo. We want to beg you. When do comes after me, it sounds like do. So this is afebe. When me comes after do, it sounds like me. Afebe, afebeo. We want to beg you. Now let's move to the second statement. We want to beg him or her or it is what this is. Afebe, afebe, afebe. It's not quite afebe. It's afebe. Eh? And I'll tell you why you pronounce this differently. Although it's do coming after me. I've already explained it in the do me video. I've explained this example. Please check it out. She or he or it is what this is. In the object form, don't worry, I'll do the video on pronouns soon. Don't worry. Verb vowel based. In the object form, if you want to say, I want to see her, or I want to see him, or I want to see it. Her, him, it would be she, he, or it in the object form. I want to see her, I want to see him, I want to see it. It's verb vowel based. And so it is the verb that would determine the im or the it or the are. It is the verb that would determine. For instance, this statement is verb vowel based. So afebe, we want to beg him or her or it. What you would do is, first of all, put a hyphen, very important, so that you don't confuse it with something like this. If you don't put a hyphen, then it would mean this. It would be want to beg you. If you don't put a hyphen, because then it would be a standalone word. But this is like father and child, like a child coming out of a father. It's very much verb vowel based. It's the verb that determines what him or her or it would be, what she or he or it in the object form would be. So this is, we want to beg her, him or her or it. You will first of all put a hyphen, and then you will duplicate the last vowel. And we have two types of vowels. We have the aramukwe and the aramukwe. It's in the video on tones. It's already there. Put a hyphen, duplicate the last vowel, and put whatever the corresponding tone is. Duplicate the last vowel without any tone mark first, and then you will then be able to determine what should be on it. So this is afebe. This is do. So this would be mi. Afebe, 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 do mi, do mi, do mi. See, do mi. You duplicate the last vowel. I have several examples in the do mi video. Please watch it. I don't want to spend too much time on this one. We want to beg him or her or it. And like I said, I did explain why, like, what is this face? I did explain why, pronunciation wise, they are different. I said, whenever you see a pronoun, a verb that has a pronoun attached to it, whenever you see a verb that has a pronoun attached to it, one that has him or her or it after it, that is a chat like that, I said, think of it like a father attached to a child. I said, me and Do have a crush on each other, but whenever, you know, there's a verb, irrespective of whether it has the Do or me on it as the first syllable, you know, if it's connected to a pronoun like that, if a pronoun has come out of it, then when after me, do is do, and when after do, me is me, thing would not apply. So instead of saying afe be do, see, be, no, you don't say that. You say afe do, retains itself. So it is afe be do, still retains itself. It maintains what it is. It doesn't change. Afe be, it remains do, because it is now a father. The attraction thing doesn't happen. That was why I labeled the first one a love story, because it really is. Once this is the father, it doesn't apply anymore. So afe be, and then you can now continue with this theory. So it becomes me be, afe be, afe be. We want to beg him or her or it. If you can beg a it, I suppose mainly would be him or her. Afe. Typically, I've explained it in the video. I don't want to repeat myself, because I'm going to wear myself out if I keep repeating things that I've thought. Afe be. This retains itself whenever it is a father. Whenever it's not, this theory applies. Afe be. So that's the difference between both. That's the difference. What is the difference? That is the difference. We want to beg you is what the first one is. We want to beg him or her is what the second one is. So, I mean, what has this taught you so far? That one, the way that you write Yorùbá matters. One, your spelling matters, because just the simple hyphen can change the entire meaning of a statement. Just omitting a hyphen will make this, and this would not be what you mean if this is what you intend to write, but you wrote by error, you wrote wrongly. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, be mindful of how you write. It's very, very important. It is. And also how you pronounce, you know, which is why I made two entire videos. The second one being the most effective on how to pronounce Yorùbá fluently. I've pretty much given you everything you need to know at this point in order to pronounce Yorùbá just as well as anybody who doesn't even know another country exists besides Nigeria and they are Yorùbá. Just as well as they would speak Yorùbá, I've given you the what you need, so you have no excuse me. You have everything you need at this point. If you need further practice, then I suppose if there's nobody around you that can help you, then we can practice if it's absolutely necessary, but at least make some attempt on your own. What's with this? Anyway, that's the end of that. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.
Ani ilé ló odò ayé mọ̀já ní orí iṣẹ́ omi àgẹ́fẹ̀rẹ̀ jìn. Ani ilé ló odò mi má bà kú lógún ọdún. Ani ilé ló odò gbàgbà tí ń jẹ́ ègbò. Omi o odò ìfúnlẹ̀ yóò gbọ̀n súré sí mi. Ani ilé ló odò ẹ̀yìn àdómi ọ̀pẹ́ yẹ mọ̀já lọ́mọ àkókò.